Hello? Yeah? Working? Okay, I don't need to change anything? All right. Before we get started, we have just a couple of minutes before we call the meeting to order. Just wanted to let everybody know that we are, this is a test drive of our new board docs platform. And so we're trying to work through maybe some of the more technical sides of this. We did a test run earlier this afternoon, but I will be running the meeting from my computer, and we'll be able to pull up pretty much any links or anything in the agenda. I'm just thankful that it's a relatively short agenda tonight. And so bear with us as we're trying to do this, because I'm also linked to Zoom and to this at the same time, and we'll try and be smooth about it. But this is our first attempt at running our board meeting through board docs. And hopefully all of you have received an email with a link to register. It comes from Diligent, and hopefully you're getting set up on that, and then eventually we'll have a training for trustees. So email, yeah.
And then everybody will be provided some if
Yep.
they don't have one.
Yeah, we'll work on getting a device for everybody. But essentially, this is what the public sees, and this is what we'll present on Zoom. Yep.
All right, the time is now 6 o'clock. I'll go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order. Roll call has been taken, and we'll go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, and before we start on item 3, I just want to go ahead and welcome Trustee Davy. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Davy to the board. This is her first meeting. All right, so now we'll move on to item 3, which is to review, revise, and approve tonight's agenda. If there are no changes, is there a motion to approve the agenda as written? Moved by Trustee Witt, second by Trustee Wake. Any public comment? All those in favor for approve the agenda as written, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous to all trustees present. And now we'll move on to item 4, which is to approve the minutes. So first up will be the Board of Trustee regular board meeting of August 13, 2024. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Moved by Trustee Wake, second by Trustee Walsh. Any public comment? All trustees in favor for approving those minutes, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous to all trustees present. Next up is the Board of Trustees regular board meeting of August 20th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Moved by Trustee Wake, second by Trustee Witt. Any public comment? All those in favor for approving those minutes, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous to all trustees present. Next up is public comment. Public comment portion of the meeting is set aside for the public to address the board as a body. It is not time for board response or for the public to ask questions. Do not infringe on the right of privacy of others. Please sign in and spell your first and last name. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. The chair or acting chair may terminate an individual speaker if statements are out of order. Any public comment? Seeing none. So now we'll move on to item 6, which are reports and announcements, and I'll turn it over to Superintendent Hill for his announcements.
Thank you. As we enter this school year, I want to remind our community that September is National Suicide Prevention Month, and today is World Suicide Prevention Day. And just want to take a moment to address this critical issue that affects our school community and our community at large. It remains a significant concern amongst our youth in our state. It's the second leading cause of death for ages 10 to 24. And Montana is ranked in the top 3 for suicide rates for over 40 years. These statistics remind us the urgent need for continued focus on mental health and suicide prevention in our schools and our community. And I'm always happy to report that our district is very proactive in addressing the issue. We've implemented specific training and programs and curriculum aimed at intervention. We're providing mental health training for staff. We're partnering with local organizations that offer supporting services, and we always recognize that there's room for improvement. And this year, we're going to partner with multiple agencies in providing for a safe storage campaign. We believe these efforts, combined with our existing programs, will help create a more supportive and safer environment for our students. So you'll be seeing and maybe hearing a little bit about that later this month, and I'll be sure to share the communications that we're sharing out. But we're excited to do that. But suicide prevention, it's a community-wide effort. It is not something that is solely borne by schools and is not something that is solely borne by mental health providers. And we just encourage everyone, whether it's our board members, our staff, parents, or students, excuse me, to learn the warning signs of suicide risk, which can include changes in behavior, expressions of hopelessness, withdrawal from activities, among others. And if you know of someone who's struggling, we just ask that you please remind them that help is available. And know that our school staff is always here to support. But there are the Suicide Prevention Lifeline 988 that's available 24/7. And so I just like to reaffirm our commitment to supporting our students and our staff in suicide prevention this month.
Is our new tip line something that can be accessed for this type of support
Absolutely,
too?
absolutely, yep. So we've implemented a new anonymous tip line as well that just rolled out this year. We've had 4 tips, I think, so far, none of them related to suicide, but we were off to a good start. The other thing that I would share is that I spent a humbling 5 hours at Teach Academy this morning. I started off by being the the breakfast guy this morning, getting breakfast ready, took it up to the classrooms. Then I got to be a para support in a PE class, and then para support in an English language learning class, a second grade para, and then I got to be the lunch guy again, and then I got to be the noon duty, and then I went home and took a nap. No. Just want to, what a great experience. Hats off to that staff. If you've ever been a part of opening something new, a new school, it just takes time. There's systems, there's things that have to happen, things that haven't maybe been recognized before in terms of how you operate. And so it was a really great experience. Yeah, it was enlightening. So it was a great day. And that's my report.
Okay, so now we'll move on to item 7, which is a consent agenda. And some of the board trustees might notice that we did move the out-of-district attendee agreements into this area, since it's going to be more of a thing we have to do monthly with those. So we'll have 2 motions in an elementary and a high school. Is there a request from an elementary trustee to approve the consent agenda items? Moved by trustee Witt, second by trustee Hayes. Sorry, guys. There is no board discussion. Is there any public comment on this item? All elementary trustees in favor for approving the consent agenda, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous of all elementary trustees present. Is there a high school motion to approve the consent agendas? Moved by trustee Davis, second by trustee Week. There is no board discussion. Any public comment? All trustees in favor for approving the high school consent agenda, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous, all trustees present. So now we'll move on to item 8, which is new business. First up is to approve the Drummond School District Transportation Agreement, and this is over to you, Mr. McHugh.
All right, thank you. So this is a recurring item that we see. There's an agreement that's attached on page 18, and including a map that's part of that agreement. And what the agreement allows is for the Drummond School District bus to enter our boundaries and Clinton's boundaries to pick up students. And typically, they pick up their own students because they only transport along the I-90 corridor. So if you look at the map, the red line is I-90. And then you'll see on the far left the Rock Creek stop, and then about 3/4 to the right, there's the Beaver Tail stop. So they essentially go down the I-90 corridor. It runs adjacent to the Drummond property or Drummond district boundary, which is in that sort of tan colored area. And then folks either drive or drop off their students at those various stops along the I-90 corridor. And so they're entering, it's a safe turnaround at the ramps. The ramps are located in Missoula County in our district. So they have to have permission to enter our district with their buses. The new caveat or new change last year is that one of our students, one of our resident students actually attends Drummond, so that's a new twist. But they would have to do an out-of-district attendance agreement in order to attend Drummond and reside in our district, so we should be seeing that. And then there's, part of the same family, there's 2 kids that go to Clinton. So this requires board approval for their bus to enter our boundaries.
Any trustee questions? Trustee Witcher, then trustee Walsh.
So just so I'm clear, is this so students that reside within our district can go to the Drummond School District? Or is this just so they have a meeting place where the kids in their district can meet along the corridor?
Right, it was originally designed to have a safe place to have a pickup and drop off, because the pickup and drop off is in our district boundaries. The twist is that there is a student in our district now that's also getting picked up at this pickup and drop off stop.
So does that mean that our district is covering the cost to transport this child, or that Drummond's like, we've got this?
Yeah, Drummond is just continuing with their regular stops and is now benefiting one of our resident students who happens to live in that area, which is much closer to Drummond than it is to Missoula.
Yeah, I'm only asking just because I want to see what, like, the repercussions of this new House bill where we can go wherever we want
Yeah.
type of thing, if this was part of that.
Yeah, and you
So
can
thanks for
see,
clarifying.
like, you guys could deny somebody coming into our district to have a bus stop. I mean, this one was originally set up for safety reasons, but there could be a situation where you're like, well, no, you're not going to come into our district and pick up 50 of our kids type of thing.
That was just my question. Was this a territory sharing thing, or was it also cost sharing? So no cost sharing.
No cost sharing. Yeah.
Cool.
Any other trustee questions? This is a high school motion. Is there a trustee to approve the recommendation? Moved by trustee Wallach, second by trustee Davy. Any final trustee comments? Any public comment? All trustees in favor for approving the recommendation, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous to all trustees present. So now we'll move on to topic 2, which is a shingle roof replacement at Chief Charlotte Elementary, and this is over to you, Mr. McWilliams.
Yeah, thank you. So as the board write-up explains, we had, of course, the big windstorm we had back in July created some significant damage at Chief Charlotte on the shingle sections of the roof. Working with our insurance company, it was needing complete replacement. And so in regards to typically how we would do it, given that it's more than $80,000, we would take it out for a public bid to get competition. Given where we're at kind of with our weather patterns and kind of entering into the cooler year, part of the year with rain and snow and the freeze thaw, I was concerned about being able to get this repaired in time, finding a contractor, getting it repaired in time after doing the public bid process. So public bid process typically takes 4 to 6 weeks just to get a contractor on board. We need to have it done before 4 to 6 weeks passes. And so as identified in the write-up in MCA 29-322-6, it explains what that MCA refers to as unforeseen emergency. It defines unforeseen emergency as a storm, fire, explosion, community disaster, insurrection, acts of God, or other unforeseen destruction or impairment of school district property that affects the health and safety of the trustees, students or district employees of the educational function of the district. And that's a lot of words, but basically, it allows us to look at foregoing the public bid process and looking at getting estimates or quotes from local contractors to speed that process up. We worked with our attorney's office, and we believe that that obviously fits the first word identified as storm. So I got 3 contractors, and we went and we looked at it, we did a mandatory walkthrough on the roof, and we requested quotes to get those repaired. And I received 2 responses. And so we worked with those contractors to look at the safety protocols they put in place. We are occupied, we have school going on, we have MEA days, 2 days off in October, but this project just would require us it just take too much time. So being that it's gonna be an occupied facility, I wanted a safety plan put together, and then we looked at schedule, start completion dates, and we elected to choose Schrock Roofing. Their plan is to start on the 29th of September, and they'll work at about 6 or 7 or 8 days, 9 days, sorry. They'll go from Saturday, and they'll finish up October 5th, I believe, whatever that Sunday is, October 6th. And they will not work during school. So they'll do everything on the weekend and in the evenings. And they believe that they can do that and complete the project. So the other contractor was 20 to 30 days to complete the project during school hours. So it became pretty easy choice to select Schrock Roofing.
Any trustee questions? Trustee Hayes?
I was just curious, was there a deductible that needed to be met?
I believe there's a $1,000 deductible for our insurance.
So I have one more question. Did you, was there an opportunity to work with FEMA to get that deductible covered?
There is, I don't know a lot about it, but I have been talking with Adrian Beck from the County Emergency Services Department, and they're putting together a package, I believe, and looking at reimbursements from the community-wide. I just got the video sent to me last week on how that all works. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I guess there is some avenues that we'll look into.
Okay, thank you.
Any other trustee questions? Seeing none, this is an elementary motion. Is there a motion by elementary trustee to approve the recommendation? Moved by trustee Mercer, second by trustee Walsh. Any final comments? Seeing none, any public comment? All those in favor for approving the recommendation, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous to all elementary trustees present. So now we'll move on to B, which is personnel negotiations and policy. And first up is to approve the personnel report. And so I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Lebowski.
Yep, pretty straightforward, nothing of note.
All right, so there'll be 2 motions, elementary and high school. But first, are there any questions? Trustee Mercer.
Trying to find where it was, but there were like 3 TOSAs and like district-wide positions that were new. Could you just speak to what those are? They were high school, I thought. And what does CYO mean?
Current year only.
Okay. Oh, sorry, there's more. Page 30, top, couple. Data analysis, maybe?
Yep, those are all grant-funded positions that have been added. Some are from the Transformational Learning Grant. What's the other one? There's 2. Yeah, and then the Student Support Service, TOSA as well.
Are those in in that coaching thing with Barbara, or are they somewhere else, or?
Some are in that, under Barbara and under that department. The Student Support Services, I'm not sure if she is under, or she is, okay. She's also under Barbara's department.
Any other trustee questions? Trustee Witcher.
I'm just wondering if Could you explain to me how things are breaking down with the consolidation of administrative positions and who's in charge of what now when it comes to CTE and SPED? And I'm still really confused about that.
Yeah, we're actually working as a cabinet, we're working on an organizational chart to give you a visual for that. You want me to go through all of them?
No, I think whenever the chart's ready, that would be super helpful. Just when public's asking me, like, who's in charge of special education, it'd be great if I could know how to answer that.
Yeah, and we'll put that together. I think we're pretty close. It's challenging to make an organizational chart where it's not just who reports to whom, but it's also programs like CTE. So if you start listing out programs, the chart grows exponentially. But largely, a lot of the positions, the ones you mentioned, are covered under the academic and community services directors, and that's Casey Lazlovich and Barbara Frank in those positions. We've consolidated a lot of things under them, and then also Amy and Vinny.
Any other questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the elementary personnel report? Moved by trustee Witt. Second by trustee Walsh. Any final trustee comments? Any public comment? All elementary trustees in favor of approving the recommendation, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous, all elementary trustees present. Is there a high school motion to approve the recommendation? Moved by trustee Wake, second by trustee Wallach. Any final trustee comments? Any public comment? All trustees in favor for approving the high school personnel report, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous, all trustees present. So now we'll move on to C, which is teaching and learning. And it's to approve the Montana High Set Option School District application for Big Sky High School. And this is over to you, Assistant Superintendent Shattuck.
Some of you might recall that we approved all of these applications for the high set option in the spring for Sentinel, Hellgate, and Big Sky. There's a change in the program coordinator at Big Sky, so it had to be brought forward again to you for approval.
Any trustee questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the recommendation? Moved by trustee Wake, second by trustee Davy. Any trustee comments? Seeing none, any public comment? All trustees in favor for approving the recommendation, please indicate yes by raising your hand. Unanimous, all trustees present, and it is 6:20. We are adjourned, everybody.
Nice job.
Good job, everybody, we did it. It's a record.